Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet, and welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream, where today you get an extra healthy side helping of what sounds good today? Fried chicken. Fried chicken's always good. Extra healthy side helping of fried chicken. Hope everybody's doing really well today. Sorry that I wasn't able to. Sorry, I was just got a text from work. They're driving me nuts. Um, hope everybody had a good day, but I wasn't able to stream on Tuesday because I had to work. And I apologize if you can hear my alerts in the background. The girls at work, they're all about their cell phones, and they have a text group. It's required that we all share our cell phone numbers, and they blow my phone up, mostly with pictures of puppies and kittens and stuff. But every once in a while, it is work related, so I have to check it. Hey, Vanilla. And it makes me crazy. But they just come out with the Christmas week schedule, and so they texted that out. Uh, I was kind of hoping Mama Minnie would be here so I could talk to her, but I'll try to get a hold of her in a little bit. And hold on a second. All right. All right. Ranting Monkey was sending me a tweet, and I wanted to make sure that I answered it. All right. So, anyway, I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Hope everybody's having a good lead up to Christmas. As the title says, it's a frozen tundra here where I live, as it implies. But yeah, we've had some winter weather, even though it's not technically winter to what is it, to the 21st? Tuesday, I believe it was, we got it snowed several times, but overall, I think it was about 7 to 8 inches overall, which is not a big deal here where I live. That's not considered a big snow where I live, but it's just enough to be uh it's just enough to be annoying. You got to shovel out and scrape your windows and take your time because all the side roads are slicker and snot on a doorknob. uh and it's, yeah, ice skating vehicles, exactly. That's what it's been. Bitter cold. It's got down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm not sure what that is Celsius, but that's really cold. It gets much colder here, but that's cold enough that during the day it gets in the low 30s, which with the sun shining will melt some of the snow, and then at night it freezes, and it's a skating rink uh, until you get to the major roads, and it's a pain in the butt. Um, I was working Tuesday when the snow was falling, and my boss wanted me to try to shovel and salt the sidewalk out in front of the shop, which I did, but it was snowing so hard that the second I shoveled, it just filled right back in. Yes, Vanilla. I'm aware of his nan, and I'm sorry for his loss. But you all will get through it. I have faith in that. I have faith in it. It isn't that I haven't gone through it myself. uh, it really is. But I am sorry to hear that. Also, sorry to hear that a person that I used to stream with on occasion back in the early days of my channel, Prince of Queens, has passed away. Now, I don't know anything about it. I don't have any idea how he died, why he died, whatever. I just know that he passed, and he was somebody that I had run into on streams on several occasions back in the old days. So Was kind of sorry to hear that. I don't know if you all are familiar with him or not, but yeah, it was somebody that I knew, you know, that ran in the same circles that I did back in those days. Uh, Sugargraft, anyone who feels bad about ruining the environment for the next generation has spent a lot of time around teenagers. Yeah, well, I don't feel bad. I'm a boomer, legit. I'm a baby boomer. I'm not just somebody who, okay, boomer. And I don't feel bad about anything because I don't feel we ruin the world for anyone. That's my opinion. Uh, yeah, I seen you did, Vanilla. I was not on Twitter at all yesterday, just to explain. So I did not even get the word until late morning this morning after I got back from dropping the granddaughters off to school. So I sent him a message in private, and but anyway, other than that, I hope everybody's having a good time and having uh, staying safe. Staying safe. The roads around here are getting better. One thing my state does, they may not be that great about patching the chuck holes, the potholes, because we've got some massive ones here, and usually do every winter. Wintertime conditions, the pavement freezes and then starts to come up in little chunks, and you all know probably what I'm talking about. But they are good about plowing and salting the roads. At the first sign of snowflakes, their trucks are usually out, and they do stay on top of it. I'll give my state and my city credit for being really good about that. So all the major roads will usually be fairly clear. It's the side roads you got to really be careful of, and the overpasses. That's what gets people. They get cocky. They get complacent, and they forget that it's wintertime, and they just cruise through, doing several miles over the speed limit, hit an overpass, hit black ice, and then they're gone. Yeah, Monkey is still under the weather. I actually sent him a link, and he texted back that he was invited to another live stream. I don't know which one, doesn't matter, before I invited him to mine. So he's in the middle of a live stream now, so not going to be able to come on. But we'll get him on here again, I hope, before too long. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had Functional on. He was in Functional says he was in Sinatra's, and they just ended. Okay. Well, whatever the case is, at any rate. So what's been going on, guys? My situation here. It's snowy and it's frozen. I want to tell you a little bit of a funny story. It snowed Tuesday, and normally I just wear little slip-on loafers, the soft loafers, because that's what I like on my feet. But it snowed, so I wanted to get my boots out to at least wear to work, and then I'd change shoes when I got there. And I hadn't had my boots out for quite a while, because last winter we really didn't get much snow. Had some severely cold weather, if you remember, but we didn't really get much snow. Hey, Havoc. And everybody else is in the chat. I didn't say hello to you, and I'm sorry. And at this point, if I say hello to everybody, I'm probably going to forget someone. But hello to everybody in the chat. But we really didn't have much snow. So it's been a couple of years since I'd really had my boots out. And I really love these boots. They're insulated. They keep my feet warm. They keep them dry. Really liked them. And I got them out from under the bed and went to put them on. And apparently during that couple of years, the glue let loose on the soles, and the front of the soles had come loose. They were flopping, and I didn't have time to fix them properly. I thought, well, I'll just get the duct tape. So I duct taped them around the toes, kept the sole up so that I could wear them to the sole. They're kind of a layered sole, so it wasn't getting through to the inside of the shoe, but the bottom part had come off. And so I just duct taped them really quick and yeah, reverse flip flop, and wore them to work, and then changed back into my regular shoes once I got to work. Well, when I went to leave at about quarter after 7:30 at night, and I'm trudging through the deep snow. This Tuesday was the day that it snowed so much. Something felt wrong, and I looked down, and the heel had come loose on one of them. So, yeah, I'm afraid my boots are going to have to go in the trash. But I walked very carefully to my van and cleared off the windows and tried to drive home and keep what was left of the soles on them. As I come home, it was, I probably made a pretty funny sight wearing those boots. But by the time I realized that had happened, I had already set the alarm and locked the doors. So I didn't want to go back into the shop. So I had to at least get to the van. But welcome, Angry Illinois. Yeah, I heard that Sinatra was streaming, and Monkey was on it, and welcome. Glad you decided to come over here and drop a like and so forth. As you all have been told, this is the only stream I'll be able to do this week because I have to work Saturday as well. So, but there will be at least a Tuesday stream next week. I did see the schedule. I'm off Tuesday. I do have to work Christmas Eve, so I don't know what that's going to do for us meeting the family up in Michigan, because everybody was supposed to get together on Christmas Eve, and I've got to work till apparently 8 o'clock. I thought we were only open till 7 on Christmas Eve, but I'll check with my boss. I work tomorrow, but only for 2 hours to unload the truck, and that's all I've got to. That's all I've got to work. So, hey, Cynical, how you doing? But yeah, winter's setting in, even though it's not technically winter here where I live. And like I said, we got about 8 inches, and that's not a huge snow from where I live here. We're used to snow, but it is enough to be just absolutely annoying. It's just annoying. You track it in and out. You got to shovel. You got to clear the windows. Blah 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 blah. You all know what the story is. Just trying to get through work. Lindsay says, "Hope you're doing well." I am. So you're at work, okay? MC says, missed the first 6 Christmases after being married thanks to the U.S. Army. Yeah, I bet. Zombie Teddy, good afternoon. But I'm not used to it. I'm used to spending Christmas with my grandchildren, and they're the only reason I even celebrate. If it wasn't for my grandkids, I wouldn't even celebrate Christmas at all. I just wouldn't. I'm a Scrooge. I'll admit it. I'm a Scrooge. But I do love watching my grandkids open their Christmas presents and the expressions on their face and the excitement. I do enjoy that. Get a drink of coffee there, getting a little bit of a dry throat. But yeah, bah humbug, says Functional. But yeah. So hey, Functional, are you busy, dude? Well, I can't get you a link though. You don't have Twitter, dude. Daggone it. And uh, what you call it? Yeah, it it may Discord makes my computer crash. So it's crap. Yeah, not sure how to get you a link, dude. Sorry. It struck me after I said something. You don't have Twitter, and Discord makes my computer crash. So, yeah. And my work is still blowing up my phone with texts. I don't. Jack, you know I trust you, dude. Send me a tweet, Jack, so I can find you easy, and I'll give you the link. And you could come on too. I don't care. Sorry, I know I'm being quiet, but between my work blowing my phone up and everything going on, I'm getting distracted and I got quiet. Sorry. Oh, Jack says it can't come on. I have to go soon. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, technical difficulties. Please stand by. All right. There's there we go, and sent. All right. Sorry, Bansman, I didn't see that. Yeah, Cynical says if I didn't have to work, I would have been happy to join you. Yeah, I know you would, but you said you were working. Kyler says walking and chewing gum at the same time is a challenge for you, isn't it? Just some things. I can cook multiple dishes at the same time, but when I get involved with technical stuff, yeah, I do get distracted and forget to talk. But yeah, sorry, Vance, I didn't see your offer to come on until I'd already asked function. I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose. It really wasn't. And how you doing, bud?
One second.
And he comes on and dies. Don't die on me, dude.
Oh, sorry about that. Soda went down a little the wrong way. Hi, everybody. Hey, Papa.
You're supposed to drink your soda, not snort it.
Yeah. I don't remember who did it the other week, but somebody on stream made me like crack up so hard in chat that I actually shot ramen through my nose because I was eating ramen at the time. It was painful. And disgusting.
Yeah, that's that doesn't sound like a very good experience. Shooting ramen through your nose. I'm not a fan of ramen anyway, and I don't really think I want to shoot it through my nose.
No, but you know when you just have such a big chuckle that you're trying to suppress because you're having a sip of coffee or a sip of water or what have you, and it just kind of goes up instead of down. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Hi, Beth. Yeah. Well,
I Badger. I take offense to that, good sir.
I don't know why everybody picks on Badger. Daggone it.
German.
Because he's German. I get that part.
It's easy to pick on the Germans.
And I like to pick at him, but it's in a friendly manner. I like Badger, guys. But anyway. So how's it been going?
It's going well. I'm kind of just stuck inside at the moment because as I look out my window, the entire city is blanketed in about 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, so you've probably got more than we got. Here, I was complaining about 8 inches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being stuck in the People's Republic of Kazakhstan, and since I'm in Toronto, I'm surrounded by the Great Lakes, so we get a lot of snow.
Oh, so you get that
Luckily,
lake. You get that lake
yeah,
effect then.
yeah. But luckily, it's we usually get the big flakes, so it's nice powder. It's not like miserable snow, like that wet snow that just kind of turns everything into ice and just. No good. It's fun to look at. It's very beautiful to look at when we get an ice storm up here. But yeah, it's a real safety issue because people can get injured regularly. Power transformers explode or what have you because they're literally caked in like 3-4 inches of ice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're used to snow here. Now we have got feet of snow before on numerous occasions here where I live in Indiana. We don't get the lake effect snow because this not in my city anyway.
Yeah.
Parts of Indiana does, but because Lake Michigan is
relatively close. Yeah.
Well, it's our northern border,
Yeah.
at least part of it. But here in Indianapolis, we're far enough away that we don't get the lake effect, but we are used to snow, and we made it through this, like I said, I think it dropped 4.5 inches on us first, and later another 2.5 to 3 inches. So somewhere in the area of 8 inches, I think overall.
'Tis the season, yeah.
Yeah, but it was just annoying. We're used to the snow here. It isn't like if you dropped 8 inches of snow on, say, Georgia or somewhere like that. Their city's going to shut down. Everything kept running, and it kept running pretty good. Sure, there was wrecks around town and stuff because people forget how to drive on it.
They kind of seem to forget that it's there entirely and just drive as normally. And it's like, no, you have to actually take, special precautions.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though the majority of the main roads might be clear, that doesn't mean you're not going to hit a slick patch somewhere. It happens.
At least if it's a thick snow, it'll plug up those potholes.
Yeah.
You actually get a smoother ride. Just take it easy out there, people.
Yeah.
Drive a little slower.
And if the girls at work don't quit blowing up my phone, I'm going to get mad and yell at them here in a minute.
Oh, that's got to be so annoying. Because if you need to contact your fellow employees about work matters, hey, covering a shift or something happened or whatnot, that's a great idea. But to just constantly be blowing it up with, for what I can only assume is teenage bullshit and stupid memes that really have nothing to do with your work, then that's not really professional.
Well, most of it lately has been because my boss got a new puppy, and it was cute, but God, she blew up it was like, okay, I've seen it. I don't need to see another picture and another video and another picture and another video.
Yeah, especially when you're on your day off and you just kind of want to just and wind down from work.
I have to check it because I don't know. Like maybe they're calling me in to cover a shift or something, which happens.
Yeah.
And the last tweet actually tells me that next Friday I have to close, which I expected, but okay.
I find it a little weird that they'd ask the old guy to shovel the snow, though. Where's this equal rights for women? Why aren't they doing some of the hard labor?
I happen to have just been the person that was closing that day, on the day that it snowed. So, and it's been kind of a mess because our boss has been, the manager has been out for 2 weeks. She hurt her back.
Oh.
And hasn't had to work. So it screwed the whole schedule up, and the whole scheduling thing. We've all had to pitch in, take extra shifts and all that stuff. But I was scheduled to work that day, and that's why. I'd done the best I could with it. One of our district managers stopped in to buy some cigarettes and says, you probably want to salt out there. And I said, I already have twice.
It just keeps falling.
Yeah, I've salted twice. I'm going to shovel here in a little bit, and I'll salt again after I shovel. But I'm not that dumb. Uh, Zombie Teddy says you and Badger are the same person. He's not mine.
No, excuse me, zombie. I have a Canadian accent, so I don't know what you're talking about. It's not the
No.
German accent. I
And
don't talk like that.
speak of the devil, no, Badger, I have not moved to Wisconsin, but we have got a little bit of snow. We got about 8 inches the other day, and not a massive amount, not for here in the Midwest. I mean, that's the 8 inches of snow you deal with. You just our schools didn't even close. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It looked like the school was completely covered in snow. We went to school.
Yeah. Yeah, we just dealt with it. Now, thank you, Cryptic, for the donation, says the Redneck. Okay.
Now, if I can just interrupt for 1 second, because I'm not going to let this die. Zombie Teddy, if you want to hear who I sound like, get Cryptic on stream. He sounds like an Asian version of me.
Yeah, I can. I've talked to Cryptic on numerous occasions behind the scenes. So
it's kind of a running joke with us now that we sound exactly the same, even though we kind of don't. But
yeah, he's just got a little bit of that Asian accent, you know. Not real heavy. Cryptic speaks very good English, English, but it's just the little slight that you can tell on his R's and stuff. He's Asian.
Oh, people tell me when Jen and I are streaming together, my Canadianness really starts to shine and come through, and I'm like, I can't help it.
But yeah, 8 inches of snow was no big deal. You know, it wasn't any big deal. They didn't make a run on the grocery stores and buy them all out of toilet paper or nothing like that. You're used to that kind of snow in the Midwest. That's nothing. That's just a snow.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a snow. We're like down, say, like I mentioned, Georgia earlier, they get 2 inches, the whole city closes down. You know, because you know, and the stores have no toilet paper and nothing like that. So
where was it? I think it was last year, the year before, somewhere in the Middle East got snow. It was like Egypt or something, and they like closed down a bunch of the major roads because they didn't know how to handle it. They didn't get much, but it started snowing or something. It's amazing what people who like don't regularly have to deal with it like freak out in a sense that they're just like, oh my God, what do we do?
But my granddaughters go to a charter school, not a public school. They go to a charter school, which is like a private school, but you don't have to be rich and super smart to go. It's like anybody can go as long as you can pay the fee for it, you know. And they go there because the district they live in is not known for really good schools.
So a wise investment on the behalf of their parents.
Yeah. So they had a 2-hour delay for the 2 days that it snowed each morning. And that was just mainly because being a charter school, they really don't have a great busing system. You know, most everybody drives their kids to school. And so because of that, and, you know, they delayed the start of school for 2 hours. So at least the sun was up and we could see and, you know, not have much problems. But shoot, everybody on the first day it snowed, everybody was being delayed, except the only place that didn't was the township I live in. And they're like, heck no, we ain't delaying. Everything's on time. Get your butts up out on the street corner. Let's go.
hustle. Come on, kids.
And of course, when I went to school, shoot, they wouldn't close school for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you had to get over a foot of snow before they even considered what they would do. And they would tell you, this is what they had. One person that was designated that on snow days that it snowed, it was a staff member, and they would try to get to school. And if they made it to school, they weren't closing.
Yep.
That was it.
The teachers can make it. Kids can make it.
Yeah. That's the way it was until 78. And then the whole city closed down for that blizzard.
Jen.
Hey, Jen. But yeah, the blizzard of 78, the whole city shut it off. the mayor actually said that, in fact, it might have come from the governor. I don't remember, but I think it was the mayor said, if we catch you out on the road, we're going to arrest you.
I disavow. There you go, Necro. Oh God, my wife's not around. I think it was maybe 6 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. We actually had to call in the army because the snow was so bad. And we're talking, God, upwards of like 6 or 7 feet.
Oh, yeah. Well, the blizzard of 78, they dropped 36 inches of snow overnight.
Yeah.
36 inches of snow in one snowfall. Boom.
Yeah, yeah.
And the whole city shut down. You're just not going to dig out of that, you know? And
it's at a certain point, it just becomes, it just doesn't become worth it to worry about the daily grind for a day for people's safety, because
the city was pretty much shut down for about 3 days.
Oh, 3 whole days. Wow.
Yeah. For about 3 days, we could not get, because it wasn't just 36 inches. There was massive drifting. There was drifting up to 8 feet.
Oh, so the winds were picking up too afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can imagine.
They said, do not get out. If you get out and get stuck, it's on you. And when they finally did come and were able to plow out the roads, they plowed cars up and everything. They didn't care if your car was stranded in the middle of the road. They plowed it up. Boom. It was hilarious. You could go down like 10th Street here, which is one of the major thoroughfares. You go down 10th Street, and there's a big wall of snow on each side of the road, because there were such big drifts, big walls. And you'd see the nose and tail ends of cars just sticking out of this wall of snow here and there.
The odd person still stuck inside.
So because they just plowed it through and said, well, we told you.
Yeah, really. I mean, these warnings are warnings for a reason. You're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
Green Thunder. Our army is basically the equivalent of your National Guard.
Yeah.
They kind of just sit here and defend the country from, I don't know, assault lobsters.
Yeah.
Battle moose.
Battle moose. Hey, moose ain't no joke. Moose,
no, they're not. They can be very. Yeah, we had a video. It was last week. I had this video of these 2 moose in New Jersey, and this guy's like freaking out. He's like, hey ma, be careful. There's some moose out on the road. And these moose are totally going at it. The big males. So they've got the big antlers, and they're just butting heads and sword fighting with these antlers in the middle of this guy's driveway. And he's freaking out because he's never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Green Thunder says, I didn't know Canada had an army. Yes. And they were actually, the Canadian Army took one of the beaches on D-Day.
Yeah, Normandy.
Yeah.
We were big allies during both World Wars.
I forget which beach it was. Sword, maybe? Sword?
I
don't remember, but it was one of the beaches. The Canadians were there. It was the Canadian, the British, and the American. Yeah.
Yeah. And typically, like the last couple of decades, we're more just peacekeepers, making sure that basically war crimes aren't going on in active war zones, but we don't really take sides. We're kind of like the French in that respect. We don't want to take sides unless there's egregious stuff. Juno Beach. Thank you, Deck.
Juno. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. They had an easier time than we did on Omaha. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That was a meat grinder. But still, it was no mean feat. But yeah, they have an army. Yeah.
We actually train some of the best pilots in the world.
You just don't hear about them all of a sudden. Hold on just a moment. I need to reply to one of the texts here that work is sending me, and no me, problem. I don't dual task very well.
No problem. These kinds of actions that when Canada does get involved with the United States as far as military action, it really shows how the two countries come together and just mesh so well in operational theaters. And just shows how, we're literally and figuratively like conjoined countries. And we share a lot of the same values, a lot of the same, social norms, and more or less peaceful societies. And And I think we can still learn a lot from each other. I mean, I, for one, as a Canadian, would love to see something like the Constitution ingrained here in Canada, because we don't have freedom of speech. We don't have, the freedom to defend ourselves. We don't have a lot of the enshrined rights and freedoms that you guys do. We do have, enshrined freedom of personhood, but that's really vague.
Hey,
You're allowed to
Maddie.
be your own person. Maddie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Maddie, Cynical Lindsay and I had a quick stream last night where we talked Star Wars, and you can collectively hear our brains breaking.
Yeah. hear your brains breaking?
Yeah, when we're just trying to get through some of the leaks and stuff. There was a lot of spoilers going on, but none of us really wanted to watch the movie, so we really didn't care. We were just poking fun at Star Wars. And of course, that's the big news of the day: Star Wars and impeachment.
Yep, the impeachment is the big thing. It's the House has impeached Trump. It has to go to the Senate now. I don't see the Senate passing it.
No, that's what I've read. That's what I hear, and it does stand to reason that I don't think it'll pass it.
Yeah.
Now, you might know more about this, but as someone who isn't as familiar with the system itself, are they completely surpassing the judiciary branch, or do they become involved after?
They can become involved, as I understand it, after.
Okay.
We've had impeachments in the past. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And probably the most famous, impeachment hearings was Watergate.
Nixon, yeah.
But, he stepped down before it got to that. And Clinton was impeached, and it didn't go much of anywhere. So, in all honesty, I'm not sure what happens, because although we've had impeachment hearings several times over the years,
mm-hmm.
It's never actually got so far that, okay, you're in bad trouble, Mr. President, and we've convicted you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not sure how if it played all the way out to its fullest extent, how that would go. To be honest.
I know from listening to what I've listened to, Chuck Schumer and all them. It's definitely going to be presented through the Senate, and of course
Yes.
they're going to have their own vote eventually. And yeah, like you said, from everybody I've heard talk about this on both sides, the likelihood of it passing the Senate is just not very likely at all. So who knows? As an outsider looking in, I'm looking at this going, this is ridiculous. What the hell is wrong with your Democratic Party? It
is. An impeachment starts with the House, and they have to vote to impeach, which they passed. But let me point out, at least as far as I'm aware, that not a single Republican House member voted for impeachment. But, the left controls the House right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on to the Senate. The Senate has to also hold a vote on it, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
They haven't presented it, from my understanding, to the Senate yet. They're kind of holding back. In my mind, and I know a lot of people have said this whole thing isn't about really getting Trump impeached. It's an end around play to try to keep him from getting elected for a second term, to make him, to try to poison the well, if you will.
It's a common leftist tactic these days to try someone in the court of public opinion, and regardless of the facts, regardless of the outcome, they're forever tainted. And that seems to me what they really want to do. Like you said, poisoning the well. It's not good politics. This is probably some of the worst politicking I've seen since I've been alive.
Yeah. Thank you, Deck Train, for filling this in. The Chief Justice will be the judge if the Senate agrees to the trial.
I'll go out on a limb here, because I've heard a lot of naysaying about Tulsi, but I respect what Tulsi did. She didn't want to play the Dems game, but she also didn't want to burn her Democratic bridges, which I respect.
Yeah.
And she voted present, and she didn't vote for or against. So
yeah, and I seen a video on Twitter that she put out that it was kind of a call to the center. You know, in other words, making a call to both parties to not be so extreme. Let's get together and work together.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Uh,
this is rushed. This is so fast. What? It took them a year to come to the conclusion of impeaching Nixon.
yeah,
A little over a year. I think it was like 13 months.
right,
That's a
right.
long time.
And there was much more clear
Yeah, it was cut and dry.
infractions
There was
on Nixon's part.
evidence galore. Evidence galore.
Yeah,
There's no
I think it's I've said it before, and this will be controversial to some. I don't think Nixon was all that bad a president. In fact, he'd done some really great things. Look into the trade agreement that he did with China, and we would not have even the slightest of connections with China or relations with China that we have today if it weren't for Nixon and a lot of other things. But he made a huge mistake. He did not order the breaking into the Watergate. In fact, he wasn't even aware that it was going on. But once he found out, he took major steps to cover it up. That's what he was guilty of.
And that, under jurisprudence, makes you an accomplice.
Yes. So, yeah, it was much more clear, cut and dried with Nixon than it is with Trump. But, yeah.
It was even clear cut with Clinton.
Yeah.
He wasn't being impeached for what he did. He was impeached for lying to Congress under oath about it. And that's clearly defined in the articles of impeachment. If you're caught in a lie, you're then culpable to be impeached.
Yeah.
You're right, RVA Dar. He wasn't a bad president. He wasn't a great one, but he was wrong.
He was not a good person. He was a very how would you oh boy, my brain's having one of them old brain farts now. What's the term for if you think everybody's out to get you?
He was paranoid.
He was very paranoid, extremely paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he recorded all his phone calls and he really thought everybody was out to get him. And to some extent they were.
Yeah, I mean it is the nature of the political beast.
But I've always said that good guys, nice guys, don't make good leaders. They don't. They just really don't. Jimmy Carter's a case in point. Jimmy Carter is a super nice guy. I'd like to meet the guy and sit and shake his hand. I think he's an extremely nice guy. Does a lot of good things. Still works with Habitat for Humanity. Has for decades.
Decades, yeah.
But he was a lousy president. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, look to your neighbors of the north. Trudeau, I'm sure he's the nicest guy, a little too nice, if you know what I mean. But terrible leader. Terrible leader.
Yeah,
no backbone. You need to have a little bit of that aggressiveness to fight for your country, especially on a global stage.
Is Trump a dick? Yeah, he absolutely is.
Oh, hell yeah.
He absolutely is. But he's got some things done.
He's using that tool, that dickishness to get things done. To leave, because regardless of what you think about him, he's doing this because he is that megalomaniac. He is a narcissist. He wants his name in the history books. What is he going to do? What would he rather do? Have people look back and think, hey, he did some good things, or, oh, what a monster. I think that he'd rather see that people in the future, looking back in the history books, will say he did some good things.
Nice guys just don't make good leaders. They really don't. You have to have that narcissism to take what you want to get past and stick to it, and that backbone. And that's just the way it is.
I think that's how it should be too, because you are literally fighting the political fight for your constituency.
I mean, look at FDR. FDR, the only president to be elected to 4 terms. He didn't complete 4 terms, but he elected to 4 terms. It was because of FDR they made the rule that you can only do 2.
Yeah.
But he was not a nice person at all. Not a very nice person at all. He'd done some good things. He had some good things done during his presidency, but he was a terrible, terrible human being once you look into his personal life and things like that. Just awful. Hey, Dada. But yeah, I just don't believe that a nice guy is going to make it very far. And not just in the United States. I believe that's true all over. A nice guy's just not going to make a good leader.
Nice guys finish last.
Yeah. It just they just don't. You have to be a little bit of a dick to succeed in leadership, which is probably why I've never. I mean, most of my life up until recent years, most of my life I spent in middle management. Not the top guy, but the lieutenant, if you will, or the staff sergeant or whatever, if you were to refer it to the military. But I never went to that top spot. Probably could have got it because I didn't want to sell my soul. As middle management, I had that fallback of, well, I got to do what the big boss says.
Yep. That plausible deniability. Yeah, having a thick skin does help too, Data.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, the thick skin I have. I don't really care what people think about me. I really, really don't. I'd like for people to like me, but if you don't like me, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, I believe in freedom. That's your freedom. That's your right. I don't have to associate with you. You don't have to associate with me. Okay. It does become a little bit of a problem when you sort of butt heads on that level with somebody you work with. But at the end of the day, just like you, I just don't care. I'm here to do a job. You don't like me. I don't like you. Oh well. Not going to let it ruin my day.
Yeah. But but back to the impeachment, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. There's really not a lot to talk about, to be honest. But I don't think, I have my opinions of some on the left, but they're not all idiots. They're really not. And they can't possibly feel, just by looking at their own vote in the House, they can't possibly feel that this is even going to pass and go to an actual impeachment trial.
Yeah.
It's just an end around. It's a means of poisoning the well, of muddying the waters for Trump's 2020 run.
Now, one thing, because I've been following the DNC elections, what do you call it? Not presidential elections, but the person who is going to be
primaries.
The primaries, sorry. Yeah, the DNC primaries. I'm really interested to see if they're going to ask the candidates about impeachment and their thoughts, if they're even going to touch that, and two, what their responses are going to be tonight, because there's a debate tonight. I want to hear what some of them say, because obviously, Tulsi, she's already made her opinion quite clear. Obviously, someone like Warren is pro-impeachment, Beto pro-impeachment. I don't remember who all's still around. But it'd be interesting to see what, Delaney, I swear Yang said he was against impeachment. But I'd be really interesting to hear what they have to say about it.
Hey, Pat. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting run up to the 2020 elections to see who actually makes it through the primary, who will be their candidate,
Yeah, I ultimately don't think it matters, because the House Democrats have already ruined their chances.
Well, and here again, this may be controversial. But I don't think it is. In 2016, there's a reason that Trump won. 2016, neither side put forth the greatest of candidates.
Yeah.
Neither side did. And Trump was the lesser of two evils.
And he just waltzed right in and became a fan favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're, Hillary's deplorable comments and all that stuff help push it through. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah. And it's a shame, because I want two strong parties, because that's really how good ideas come to fruition, because if you have two strong parties, they actually have to focus on things that are going to matter.
And looking at the Democratic race right now, their candidate this year is not going to be any better than Hillary was.
Nope.
Because
it even might be Hillary. We don't know.
Tulsi, is probably there's things that I disagree with Tulsi on, because I am a conservative.
Sure.
But she's, if I were to have to pick, she's closer to the way I feel than any of the others. But she's not going to make it because she's too center. And
my two favorites are Tulsi and Yang, and I'm a liberal, but I still disagree with them on quite a bit of things. But I thought that those were probably two very strong candidates. But the way that the DNC is run, there's no chance for either of them.
Yeah. And yes, Grill and Pirate Pete, Tulsi is nice to look at. She's a nice looking woman. She is. Devil Fruit Zero says Trump is out of office right now, according to the brain dead Democrats. Ain't happening. Yeah, I've seen the reactions on Twitter, and they're acting like this is this big victory. And I don't see how. It's expected. We expected him to pass it. It's a Democratic controlled House.
Yeah. And I called this last night. It was going to be a shit show on both sides. On social media, people were going to be ranting and reeing on both sides.
Yeah, we're not even to the part yet, folks, where there's going to be a trial. Before that can happen, the Senate has to pass it, and the Senate is Republican controlled. It isn't going to happen. I would lay dollars to donut. I'd eat my hat if the Senate passes it. It's just not going to.
Oy vey, Pat. Why would you go down that rabbit hole? I had to explain impeachment to a lot of people on Facebook last night, and you talk about Migraine Central.
I don't.
He's just a masochist.
I don't go anywhere near Facebook unless I have to. And the people that I follow on Facebook are just family, so that tells you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I use it for mostly that and just keeping up with content creators that I can't obviously keep up with on Twitter.
I don't follow any content creators, no celebrities, nothing on Facebook. It's just family and long-term family friends,
Yeah. It is a good tool to keep up with your family and people who you can't see on the regular.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend money on the phone, or it's not even having a long conversation. It's just, saying hello, or this is our new puppy.
The problem with it is drama. I mean, I'm a redneck, so all my family are rednecks, or most of them. And my Facebook is like the Jerry Springer show.
Uh-oh.
I'll just put it that way. It's like the Jerry Springer show. You get that many rednecks together and you bring out the drama. Yeah, it gets ugly. It gets real ugly. But,
I just kind of try to leave that kind of drama. Well, I have a different drama. Being Canadian and Jewish, it's a little bit of a different drama on my Facebook with family, but I just leave it alone. I just move on with my day.
Yeah, I haven't. Shoot. If I'm not wrong, the last post I even made on Facebook is when my mother died, and she will be gone she'll be gone 5 years this February. So, yeah, I don't do Facebook. I have it.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I mean, truth be told, I probably would still be on Twitter if I didn't get railroaded by Black Twitter. Those hate facts and those hate statistics. Whew, Tariq Nasheed hates those.
Yeah. He does. I've never even got a warning on Twitter, but my Twitter honestly is pretty tame compared to some of y'all's. I don't do politics. I don't do drama.
Yeah.
You look at my Twitter and it's usually just me talking about my grandkids and making dad jokes and making fun of my friends, my YouTube friends, like Alex and Monkey and all the,
Whereas I mean, I didn't get banned for shit posting, but I'm a huge shit poster.
Yeah.
I'm quick with the whip, and I can lay down some virtual smack talk. Tame. I'm not being offensive. I'm not being racist or anything, but just stick it to people who say something stupid. So it's not like I ever get banned for that. It's literally bringing out stats and facts and trying to have a discussion with people about actual issues instead of Ree!
And yes, Pat, I mentioned it at the top of the stream, Prince of Queens,
Prince of Queens.
passing away. I knew him. I streamed with him on numerous occasions.
Lol, Pat, I saw that before it got deleted.
Message deleted by the Google moderator team. Okay.
Yeah, they've been doing that all day.
Wow.
But now,
yeah. Okay. I didn't do that, folks.
Yeah, all he said was redhead's C word. So
yeah, and he's a moderator, so I would have had to been the one to do that if anybody here on the stream did it, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, no, and I've seen it been happening for like the last week. I'll say something not even really, offensive or using, but I might drop an F-bomb or something, and it just gets yeeted. I'm like, what?
I thought that's the reason I picked live chat instead of top chat.
Yeah, and why you can enter your own channel. You can enter your own censored words. You can curate your own channel, but now they're forcing you to do all that.
But yeah, Prince of Queens, I did know him. I streamed with him on streamed with him plenty of times on the old Base Mama streams, streamed with him on Misa streams before. I knew him fairly well. I wouldn't say that he was a good friend, but he was certainly a well-known, he was a person that I knew, and he
I
knew
call
me.
those content colleagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was shocked to hear it. Evil. Okay. Everybody's getting, you guys testing the waters, are you?
Oh, wow. And it got deleted too.
Yeah. I don't.
If it was my channel, I'd outright say it, but I don't want to endanger your channel.
No data. I guess I didn't see yours above. No.
That's weird.
I don't know what's going on, guys. I guess they're cracking down on censorship. I'm not doing it. and it's nothing that I have said. I have absolutely no words on my blacklist. None. So I trust my moderators and myself to keep the chat clean enough, and I don't have very strict rules. There's just very few things I won't tolerate, and
because I know you're a big fan of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. I mean, unless you're going to be outwardly just mean and nasty and start dropping a whole bunch of racial epithets or something.
Yeah, unless you're advocating pedophilia, because I'll shut you down real quick and I'll ban you from my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Or without joking, unabashedly promoting white power or some other thing like that, then I'm not going to bother you.
I see it, Data.
Yeah. This morning full. No, I did not hear McDonald's. Actually, I was off yesterday, and I'm off today, and I'm off for the most part tomorrow. But I only have to work 2 hours tomorrow to help put away the truck when it comes in. But I've been filling my time with playing games.
That's good.
I haven't
relaxation.
I haven't had a lot of game time since I've been back to work, and I've just been taking advantage of it. So,
what have you been playing?
Actually, I treated myself because it was really cheap. I don't ever buy games. I think the last time I bought a game has been years, but I bought Saints Row the Third because I really like that game.
That game was fun. Yeah,
it makes me laugh. Just everything about that game just makes me laugh.
The jokes, the weapons, and they took an idea like Grand Theft Auto and just didn't take itself seriously at all. It's so much fun. Yeah, the winter Steam sale just reared its ugly head today. It's like, I need money for
Yeah.
video games.
But it was for sale really cheap. The version with all the add-ons, all the add-on content was probably about $14, something like that.
Oh wow, that's really good.
So I went ahead and bought it, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. I had it on my Xbox 360. I didn't have it before when I played it. I didn't have it on my computer, but yeah. And if folks, if you're not familiar with the game, just think GTA, but it doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah, at all.
It absolutely does not take itself seriously. And they're unabashedly a clone of GTA. They play off of it. There's a lot of
they self-reference it all the time.
All the time. It's just a hilarious game. I mean, a game where a melee weapon is this big, gigantic, floppy, pink dildo with a bat shoved up in it that you can hit people with and kill them with. I mean, come on. It's called the Penetrator.
I remember that weapon.
Oh. Yeah. And and you can dress your characters. You can make a male character and dress them in a bikini if you want to. It doesn't, I just like seeing how silly I can make my character and going around and just being completely silly. And of course, I love stealing the cars. I'm like Pokemon with the cars. I got to have them all. Like, oh, there's a garbage truck. I don't need a garbage truck, but I want it because I don't have one. Let's steal it.
I actually just got a friend of mine gave me an extra code for the Xbox I don't know, Game Pass. So you're basically paying a monthly fee. Normally you'd pay for a monthly fee of like $10 and you get access to, they're not, the newest games, but a whole plethora of games. So he gave me a free 3 months to that. I've been just playing random games like Gears of War, Rage.
Oh, I love Gears of War.
Yeah, it's fun. And just games I wouldn't like outright buy, but since they're there and it's a subscription thing, it's so much.
Zombie Teddy, he's testing it out, putting in different bad words, and he puts in New England Patriots. Oh, dude. Pat says all my female characters were stacked. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, in the character creator, they make it's a slider that says sex appeal. And if you're making a female character, when you crank it to the top, it makes their boobs bigger.
Like beach balls, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's a male character and you crank it to the top, it makes their crotch bigger, so to speak. But yeah, this game just really does not take itself seriously. It's really, I mean, there's a mission where you have to streak. Take off all your clothes and go streaking through the streets.
And avoid the cops.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is a really good series to just lose yourself into for a few hours here and there.
It is, because there's just nothing serious about it. You can do whatever you want. I've been spending a lot of time just buying up all the properties, trying to get all that influence and get the money going and stealing everything I can steal, going out to the airport and stealing helicopters and just whatever I can. Or just walk down the street. And if, cause you've got taunts and then you've got the other thing where it's favorable, and you could set what that is, what your action is. And just walking down the street, and if people say, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" "Oh, it's a saint. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'll give them like a thumbs up or whatever, their action is. And if they're like flipping me off and stuff, "I'm not afraid of you." Well, I'll kill them and steal their money. Like, screw you. But I hated the driving around while trying to avoid the media. Those missions were annoying. Yes, they are. Those are annoying. The other missions that are annoying is where you got to keep what's his name alive, the black character. I can't remember his name. He's usually the pilot, but he has all these great ideas, and he gives you your missions. You got to try to keep him alive. I hate those.
Oh yeah, those escort missions. They can be brutal sometimes.
I hate escort missions.
Why did you just walk in front of a car, you idiot?
Oh, sometimes they just act stupid. I did do the early ones. I've started the easy ones. And like, I'll be standing by the car waiting to get in. Come on, let's go. The bad guys are all around us. They're shooting the crap out of us. Get in the car. And he's all the way across the parking lot. Like, get over here. Get over here. Let's go. But yeah, I have, I enjoy it. But I've been spending a lot of time playing it and enjoying it and screwing around with the character creator and, all the fun things that you can do in that game. But you mentioned Gears of War. I haven't played the latest one of that. I'd like to, but I haven't because I can't play new release games because they want too much money for them.
Yeah, and it's probably very taxing on your rig.
Yeah. I'm surprised I got Saints Row 3 to play on. I did have to tinker with it a little bit, but it plays and looks good. So, first
I actually already have it.
Yeah, the first three, I loved them. One of my favorite gaming series of all time.
Yeah, especially on the heels of its clone, where it derives all of its stuff is Grand Theft. It was right on the heels of the big boom of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah.
And the fact that was like the powerhouse AAA title that everybody universally loved. And then Saints Row comes out and you're just like, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about Saints. Yeah. I was talking about Gears of War. Is what I was talking.
Right.
The first three. That's all right. I'll talk about Saints some more too. I don't care. I have played the first one. I've not played the second one yet because I wanted to complete the first one before I tried to play the second one, to know more what's going on, because there is a storyline. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
but there is a storyline.
It's a story-driven game too. Yeah.
Those
kills. Oh my God! Like running up and chainsawing someone in half.
Yeah.
So fun.
I mean, like Saints Row 3 starts out, and I played a little bit of Saints Row 4. Never completed it, but played a little bit, like a demo of it or something. Just to tell you how ridiculous is, your character, who's this leader of this street gang called the Saints, is now president of the United States.
Yep.
And they get attacked by aliens. But 3 starts out, you get arrested in a bank heist. You're up in a jet plane with some mobster, giving you a deal you can't refuse, but you refuse it. You get away. And it's so hilarious. You get dumped out the back of the plane. You got to catch Shandi, who falls out. You got to catch her. But after you catch her, the plane's trying to swoop down and get you. So you got to throw her again out. And you shoot your way through the window of the airplane. And as you're flying through the airplane with your momentum, you're shooting people and throwing things at them and killing them and stuff. It's just ridiculous. Does not take itself seriously at all, which is the great thing about it. That's why it's great. But with Gears of War, Gears of War is probably one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. I've played the first 3 multiple times. J-Kid and I played them together. We had a great time doing it. I just love the Gears of War franchise. Just really do.
Yeah, I think I've only played the first 3. I own 5 now, but I haven't played 4. I haven't seen 4. Looking forward to it because, it was a fun series. And even the PvP was really kind of fun.
Yeah. The first one, oh my gosh, that end boss was, folks, if you don't want hard, don't play the first Gears of War, because the end boss is amazingly hard. I don't know if you remember, but he was this big guy that had these little bat-like things that flew all around him and protected him.
Yeah,
and you were on a train and trying to take him out on the train. Oh my gosh, he was even on easy. He was impossible. On all the other games, J Kid and I done a playthrough on each difficulty level and beat it on every difficulty. But we could never get past the end boss on anything other than easy. He gave up. He rage quit. We were trying to do it on hard, and he rage quit, and he never rage quits. This boy loves hard games, right? He just rage quit. And the only kick about it is in Gears of War 2, they went the exact opposite direction. The biggest joke of an M boss ever.
Oh, really?
It was just such a letdown. Yeah, you had that weapon. I forget what it's called, but you paint. It's basically calling down an orbital strike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that boss now. Yeah, that was a joke.
It was a great big giant boss, and you're just flying in a big circle in a helicopter around it and just constantly hitting it with orbital strikes. It was just no competition. It didn't even give you that feeling of, oh my God, it's going to kill me. But other than that, I loved them.
Yeah, after killing that boss, it was just kind of like, that was it? Nothing else? That was just okay.
It was a game where I was really able to get behind the story and to get into the characters. They developed the characters very well in that game.
Yeah, Marcus Phoenix is a badass.
Oh, he is.
Funny.
He is.
All this sarcastic wit.
And when Dom had to shoot his wife, you know, I shed a tear. I'm not kidding, a real life tear. I'm like, oh my God. You know, and of course, when he died in 3, I'm like, no, not Dom. No.
Yeah. Losing Dom was a bit much.
Kill the smart mouth. What's his name? The blonde headed guy. Kill him, but don't kill Dom. I can't remember, but I can't stand him.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. It's been a while since I've played them, so I don't remember.
He's just a smart aleck guy all the time, and I could never stand him. Now, the black guy, Coltrane. I loved Coltrane. Coltrane was great. But
yeah, wasn't he with you in the first one at the train boss?
No, no, it was you and Dom. It was
Dom?
Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, J Kid and I played it, you know, co-op, and one of us played Marcus and Baird. Yes, Baird. Cannot stand Baird. Hate Baird. That's why I wouldn't play the 4th one or those ones in between 5 and 3, because at least one of them featured Baird. I'm like, nope, not playing it. Not playing it. Don't like Baird. I don't care how good a game it is. Don't like him. Ain't playing it.
Well, that ties into it being a good game for you if you can like and understand the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And even as sort of like
thank you Deck Train General Ram. That was the name of the end boss in 1.
Yeah. Yep. With that big toothy mouth that looked like a Canadian with a flip top head
and a minigun. And all them
those bats
that protected him. When you try to shoot him, then bats would surround him and soak up the damage. I'm like, oh God, this is so hard. Oh, this is hard.
I like games that give you a little bit of a challenge, though, especially at the end. Make that last encounter memorable. Because look, it's been almost probably about 10 years, and we're still talking about that.
Yes, yeah. But it just was really. It was just a franchise that really was able. They built the story well. They built the characters well. You felt invested in the game. To the point, like I said, and Pat agreed, he hated that part when Dom had to kill his wife, and later when he died, you felt it. You felt something, you know, in your heart. You're like, oh my God, this is sad. You know, they've done a good job with that.
Yeah, that's a good sign of good writing, whether it be film, TV, video games. If you can feel something for those characters,
yeah,
that's important. That's very important.
Now, my other favorite gaming franchise is Borderlands. I just really love the Borderlands franchise. the humor in Borderlands is just right up my alley. It's my
I still
style.
haven't played 3, but yeah, I agree.
And
2 is just fantastic writing. Oh my god!
And one of the best is the add-on for it was for Borderlands 1. It was General Knox's Armory.
Yeah.
And oh man, that had some of the best one-liners in it. It was just great. You know, General Knox or like this planet smells like hemorrhoids wrapped in bacon. I'm like, dude,
Did he just say that? Oh my god!
Yeah. Or
Just
Scooter.
like you were saying with Dom's wife when they had to put down Bloodwing.
Oh, dude.
I got up. I got away from my computer the first time I beat that. I was like, no.
That made me
Why
so
did you
mad.
do that to me.
I was so mad. Well, see, here's the thing. Even after playing the first 3, like I said, I can't play new release games, so I've not been able to play the last one yet. But through the first 3, my favorite character of all time was Mordecai.
Mordecai, yeah.
He's my favorite. It's who I first played in 1, and I loved his attitude and his voiceovers and the power of Bloodwing, which, you know, and then of course there was the similarity to my name. It's spelt different, and that Bloodwing is a female, by the way.
Yeah.
But I had this name long before those games come out. So, you know, I'm playing the games. Oh my gosh, he's hollering for Bloodwing. That's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it came that part where you had to, and Jack, you know, blew the collar, I'm like, oh God, no. I was so mad. I was like you. I had to walk away. I threw my controller down. I had to get up and go away, you know, secretly wipe the tear from my eye. Like, no.
Yeah, you had to take a moment. And again, that's just fantastic writing to get you in basically what's not even a main or supporting character. It's somebody's pet. It's one of the original character's pet. It's Mordecai's pet.
Yeah.
Companion, you know, it's a bird. And for you and I to just get up and walk away because we needed a minute because that was just so emotional.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it always amazes me because if anybody kicks on the Borderlands series is they kick at 1 that there's no storyline. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding?
Did you play more than 5 minutes of the game?
Yeah. Yeah, the storyline wasn't just laid out for you and spoon-fed to you. You had to pick up all them little recordings around.
Yeah, do the side quests, get to know some of the people who aren't like main characters.
And another thing that I would always recommend somebody do when they play the first one is just let your character sit for a minute because they will say things after so long.
Yeah, let them do their idle
their little idle animations, and they'll talk, you know, like Mordecai, I think he said something like sometimes when you'd let him sit, he goes, staring at dirt. I love it. You know, you would get to know them, you know, just through all that extra stuff. It wasn't spoon fed to you. No, it wasn't. They spoon fed it to you more in the second one than they did in the first one.
Yeah.
But it was there. It was absolutely there. The storyline. I mean, God, I mean, I instantly fell in love with Scooter. You know, yeah. Oh, he had some of the greatest lines in General Knox too. Like there was this where he killed Lucky. He goes, "That's right, I did it. I told you I was going to."
I was just thinking that, Blood, too. Oh, that line, oh my God, it kills me every time.
Yeah. Cannibal Caretaker. Brick was fun to play with. It took some learning. It had a higher learning curve than some of the others.
Yeah.
Because he was all melee. But it could crack you up. It could crack you because he's like yelling, blood. But yeah, I mean, I love the Borderlands series because, again, for me, I thought they had a good storyline and they invested you in the characters, where you felt like, you know, if a character died, it was a loss. Now, I got to admit, in 2, when Roland died, I didn't feel that much because
I did.
I just didn't feel that close to Roland.
It
I
was
don't know why.
reaction I had with Bloodwing, and that I was like sad. With
Yeah.
Roland, I was just angry. Because you spend all this time being a badass, killing bosses, and then he just gets offed. It's like,
Yeah.
what? No, come on. But yeah, no, he wasn't as big of a draw on those heartstrings as it was with other characters.
I mean, come on, Lilith,
Yeah,
Firebird. How can you not just look at Lilith as she's such a bad, just good God.
bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, she is. And, and that's why she makes a big appearance, my understanding, in 4, at least in some of the cutscenes and stuff, because she's so central to it and everybody connected to Lilith, I don't know.
People really like that whole mythos around the sirens and everything, and how in the first and second one, they actually draw you into how like important sirens are.
Yeah. And there were 6, isn't that the number? There can only be 6 at any given time.
Yeah, so like a really small number. I mean, if you can, especially considering this is like a universe spanning society of people. Yeah, it's a handful of people.
But
fun to play too. I always gravitated towards playing the sirens because I liked their sort of mystical skills.
Well, and one of my favorite characters, I already said, was Mordecai. That part where he would release Bloodwing was just, oh my gosh, it was crowd control like crazy. Once you got enough points in it, he could just wipe out a crowd of guys and you'd hardly have to do anything. But I've always loved a sniper. I've always loved to snipe. But you could also, I'd always create at least 2 Mordecais because you could create a pistol.
Yeah, gunslinger Mordecai. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was pretty cool too. But my second favorite were always the sirens. I liked Lilith in the first one. I liked, and I cannot remember her name right now, but in the second one, always gravitated toward the sirens as
Maya.
my second favorite. Maya, yes.
Yeah, it took me a second. I'm like, yeah.
See you, Data. Glad you stopped by, dude. Glad you stopped by. Yeah, Maya in the second one was an absolute boss killer. Absolute boss. And Maya killing, well, not Maya, using Lilith on Crowmax.
Crowmax, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that fight. Oh, talk about rage quit.
That's where you get the wrong number, the best shotgun in the game.
Yeah, that's where you get the Chimera pistol too that shoots every
element.
Yeah. But oh god, that boss fight. Oh, that was a terrible fight. Oh, I hated that fight. J-Kid somehow he figured out, and he says, if you sit right here, they can't get to you. And I'd try it and they'd get to me. I just couldn't pull it off like he could.
Yeah, I think someone tried to show me that once.
But
one of my favorite DLCs was the Tiny Tina one, where you're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Dude, I would, if I could afford it, I would absolutely buy Tiny Tina t-shirts and everything else. I love Tiny Tina. Absolutely love Tiny Tina. And I'm so glad that in 4, I understand they have her grown up.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, she just talk about one-liners, like when she's first, when you got to blow up the train and she's got those 2 stuffed rabbits strapped to the, and this is Miss whatever, but she says, they're twins. Ooh, take them. I'm like, oh my God, this is almost creepy coming from a 12-year-old or however you are.
This little girl who's a complete psychopath.
Then you go to blow up the train and she's giving you a countdown. 1, 2. I got bored. She fires them at 2 instead of 3. She says, I got bored. Kill all the babies.
And her interactions with Mr. Torg. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh my god. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I don't get it. Now I know, you know, Alex and I's friendship, we're pretty close, but he, for some reason, doesn't like Borderlands. It just doesn't strike a chord with him. And I don't understand that because the humor is so great. It's just fantastic. But, teach their own. You don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned to me before that he's just not a big fan of shooter games.
Could be. Could be.
Which, yeah, okay, not for everyone.
It depends on the shooter game and how it's implemented. If it's done right, I'm down with it. If it's not, if it's a pain in the butt,
Yeah, I love shooter games. Not all the time, but I still love them. I'll play Borderlands, I'll play Overwatch, I'll play Fallout, whatever. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's fun and engaging and I can lose myself in the game for a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's escapism.
I've liked games that other people didn't particularly like, and I've liked them. There was something about that I liked it, and then that's okay. I'll enjoy it. You don't have to. And I've liked games that were not big hits with the critics. Havoc says, what game is this and what platform? I see Cynical answered this. Borderlands. It's on all platforms, as far as I know. Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's all. Yeah, each one is on all three platforms. I'm almost certain.
But there was a game that J-Kid and I both enjoyed very much. We played a lot of co-op on. It was called Too Human. TOOO Human.
Yeah.
And
the name rings a bell.
It never got a second part, which it was supposed to. And there's a lot of, you could see in the first game that there was supposed to be a second one, and other parts of the first game that didn't get implemented because the company that created it went under. But it gets a lot of critical hate, but I loved it. I just really enjoyed Human. The control, the battle system was far different than anything else you're used to. But once you get the hang of it, it's all right. You use the thumbsticks for battle, not the triggers.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember it now. The guy with the blue tattoo on his face.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to Google it because the name was bugging me because I know I've heard that name for a title. Yeah, it's an action RPG. Right. So it was more like Gauntlet. Remember Gauntlet in the arcade where you had the two joysticks or Smash TV? Yeah.
But once you got used to the battle system, it was fine. And there were so many different ways to build your characters that, not any one character would be like another. And the storyline on it was interesting because they were cyborgs in a dystopian future, but they were all based on Norse gods.
Yeah, Silicon Knights, that was the company. Yeah,
Silicon Knights. They were all based on Norse mythology and Norse gods, but they were cyborgs, not gods.
Yeah, it was kind of like a medieval cyberpunk kind of mashup thing going on with like demonic cyborgs and stuff.
Yeah, and Odin was this big, massive supercomputer, that controlled everything. And it was you play Baldur, one of the Norse gods, and your big bad guy is Loki.
Yeah,
you're trying to defeat Loki and all that. It's got the world tree in it and all this stuff, and it's I thought and J-Kid thought it was a very good game, well put together, and I was sad to see because they really did set it up for his part 2.
Yeah, Cannibal Caretaker mentions it. Now that he mentions it, I remember that the company who owned the engine they used sued them because they didn't pay the royalties.
Yeah.
So they had to shut down the studio. Yeah.
It was such a shame that they weren't able to complete because I would have been interested to play the part 2 because I really loved part 1.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out, see if it's on the Xbox PC app, because it does. Now that I'm you're telling me about it, I'm remembering the game. I'm like, I remember wanting to give that a go once it came down in price or something, or
Yeah, you
ported
could
to PC.
you could choose 4 different basic types of characters. You had a medic. You had, I can't remember the name of all of them, what their exact name was. You had one that was all about using guns, or you know, uh, firepower, like would use rifles and heavy cannons and stuff. You had one that was all about the melee, you know, and then there was one that was kind of like the a mix of the two. He was really good with pistols, but he also had this really big, massive sword, you know. But each one of those, no matter which one you chose, they had such, you could fine tune it. I mean, it had a huge skill tree involved with each of the characters, and you could take it any route you wanted to, you know.
That's good.
And it was like I built as many characters as it would let me build on the game. I think it only allowed 8 or something like that, but not one of them was like the other. Because not only that, but you at one point you had to choose whether you wanted to be human with no cyborg augmentation, or if you wanted to be cyborg with the augmentation, and that made a big difference too.
Cool.
So, and it had instead of picking up weapons per se, like you didn't just pick up, okay, oh, I got a new rifle. You picked up blueprints, and you had to be able to build it. And so that was kind of a neat mechanic as well, because it costs money to actually build that. You could pick up the weapons, of course, and you could pick up weapons. Now, I'm not saying that, but mostly they would be low level unless you were fighting a big boss,
Right.
or it had secret rooms that you had to hunt for and find. And you
But the good stuff you had to build yourself.
You could go in there, but the really good stuff would normally come with a blueprint, and you had to spend money on it, which I thought was a good mechanic.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you've never played The Human, look for it. It's probably a little tough to find now.
Yeah, I think it's only on Xbox.
I have it.
The third party.
I have it. I have 2 copies of it, hard copies. So I still have it here to play, but only on Xbox if I wanted to play it. But yeah.
Oh, actually, you can still get it on the Microsoft Store. So still selling the hard copies, but it's exclusively 360. There's no other ports to PC or anything.
Yeah.
I already looked on the Xbox app.
and my grandkids tore my 360 up. So
oh, damn. I'd spend hours playing like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And
well, as well as the rest of the people that have followed me for a while, that the microphone I'm using right now actually is a Rock Band microphone. Yeah. Spent a lot of hours. I usually played the drums when we'd all get together.
Nice. I was always on guitar. I reluctantly play drums, and I just wouldn't sing.
Well, I used to play drums some in my teen years, so I was somewhat familiar with it. I was no Neil Peart or John Bonham by any means, but I could figure my way around the drums a little bit. So I'd play the drums. J Kid would generally play lead guitar and show off doing it.
Sounds like J Kid.
He would play the hardest songs on hard and play it with the guitar behind his head.
Oh, wow. That takes some skill. Yeah.
He'd do it just to show off. Big show off. But he would play the lead guitar. My youngest daughter would play the bass part, and my oldest daughter, Mama, that from chat, Mama Minnie, would sing, because she's a fantastic singer. At one point in her scholastic career, her choir teacher was trying to get her to try to go professional, but she decided to go in the Marines instead. So, yeah, he is a show off. He for sure is. I've got Bandsman says I have Guitar Hero, but neither. I've got Guitar Hero guitars. I've got 2 of them. I've got 3 Rock Band guitars. I've got the drum kit, the whole thing. My big thing, the biggest fun I would have on Rock Band is trying to make a band and come up with great band names.
Yeah.
You know, I just loved that. I would make several different ones. And I think my favorite one, and you have to think about it a second, but my favorite one that I named was Frodo's Finger. You have to think about that for a second. Be somewhat familiar with Lord of the Rings lore, but Frodo's Finger was what I named the band. I thought that was great. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that they've put out casting calls in Kiwi land for people to play? Oh God, I had it here before. Casting call for people to play orcs. So they're like looking especially for people who are, I'm not going to mince words like they do in the articles, but they're looking for ugly people, basically.
Well, it's
either freakishly tall or freakishly short.
They had to be under 5 foot tall,
under 5 foot or
over 6'2" or 6'6".
Yeah, something ridiculous like that.
They wanted them to be as wrinkly as possible. They want them to be extremely hirsute, a lot of hair. And redhead is a plus.
Yeah.
And freckles are a plus.
They're trying to skimp out on the makeup.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just get a bunch of ugly people who are really tall and really short.
Yeah, they've been talking about that a lot. I listened when I'm off taking my granddaughters to school. I listen to the Bob and Tom show on the morning radio. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm sure some of the stations in Canada play it because it's worldwide. It even gets played on the military radio channels. But they've been talking about that the last couple of days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to them, but you've referenced them quite a bit. So
yeah,
not a big radio guy. I'd rather listen to podcasts and people talk about stuff and hear people's opinions.
Yeah. Well, they're just like a typical morning show, but they're funny.
Yeah.
They don't play any songs or anything. It's just all talk and jokes. Well, they do play songs, but they're usually comedy songs,
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. And the funny thing is, it's called the Bob and Tom Show. And Bob hasn't been on the show for like 2 years now.
Oh, really?
He retired.
So they kept the name.
Yeah, Bob Cavoyan retired, but they'd had that name for decades. So, the Tom's still on it, Tom Griswold, but
Bob. Any relation to Clark?
I don't know. I would doubt it.
It's coming to that time of year again. I got to binge some National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It's about as Christmassy as I get. That and Die Hard.
But yeah, they've been talking about that the Lord of the Rings thing for a couple of days now. And like that's the idea. The conclusion I come to, they're trying to skip on the makeup.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get as ugly as people as they can to play the orcs, and that way they don't have to put as much makeup on them.
And I'm glad they're going the the home streaming route. I think it's going to be on Netflix or something, or Amazon, one of those streaming services. Now
they were talking about they didn't know it. They kept asking the question: is this going to be a reimagining of it? Is it going to be, what's going on? From my understanding, it's just happening in that universe, but it's a side story. It doesn't really involve the main characters, at least not on a regular basis.
Yeah, and that's good. Because you look at the successes that something like Star Wars has had with The Mandalorian, and more so with Rogue One being the best received recent Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Those have really nothing to do with the main, what I call the Legacy of Skywalker series. It's just offshoots in the same world, and they do really well because people want that. We don't always need to see Legolas and Gandalf and blah blah blah, but watching some orcs terrorize a village or
well, if it's done well, and that's the big if it's done well. That's the reason it took so long for them to even make the movies, period. because everybody knew they were going to be difficult to do and do well.
Yeah,
and I think he pulled
a huge fan of the source material, so he wanted to do it justice.
And I think he done a good job. Are they exactly like the books? No, of course not. But what movie is?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the challenge of translating a book, a novel, a series into the big screen.
But if it's done well, there's a lot of room for it in the Tolkien universe, because he himself done that. If you've ever read The Silmarillion, and there's other works that were published after his death that are all these
world building.
Yeah, they're just stories that happened to people that were not in the main books, but in the same universe.
Yeah. Because I wasn't the biggest fan of Tolkien, but I always had this immense respect. And what I loved most about him was his ability to build the world around him.
Oh, geez. He invented it in more than one language.
Yeah.
He invented the languages.
Before Klingon, there was Elvish.
And then there was Orcish. And
Tongues of Mordor.
Yeah, he went in depth. He went whole hog when he jumped on the Middle Earth kick. He went with both feet. But yeah. Oh well, I tried to make it all the way to the end of the stream, and I darn near did. But I'm gonna have to go because I'm. If I wiggle any harder in my chair, it's going to collapse. So if you would please entertain the chat for just a couple of minutes, I'll be right back.
I would dance, but nobody can see me, so I'll just talk. What's going on, chat? What we saying up in here? Yeah, RJ, I actually just bought Reach. I remember I got it on PC. I remember why I didn't like Reach on Xbox. Because of that, but it was $10, so whatever. A little bit of fun PvP here and there. You're right, Home Alone 2. I mean, as well, not Home Alone 2. That should also be in the Christmas binge essentials. Can anyone speak Klingon? I had a couple of friends who were very fluent in Klingon. They taught me a couple words and phrases, and I mean, I watched Star Trek enough. I could probably recite some, but I won't because I don't want to sound like a crazy person. Not entirely crazy anyway. I'm a little bit crazy, a little bit eccentric, but I'm not entirely crazy. I'm not going to start speaking Klingon. It's funny. I was just going through the news. Unfortunately, not going to be doing my show later tonight. Jen's got some real life stuff to take care of. So we're just going to put the kibosh on today's show. We'll be back on Saturday, but just going through some news, and there's some interesting things, like only in Canada, Guelph man assaults roommate with bong in video game dispute. Since we've been talking about video games, yes, it escalated to the point where the roommate called the police on his roommate because he beat him with a bong. Oh God, only in Canada, eh? Yeah, well, I mean, any sort of made-up language is going to be very difficult because you don't necessarily have the bases like like modern languages do. Like English has a basis in Latin, which is already an established language. Yeah, Pat, I don't know. They were probably, jamming on some Xbox and playing some Street Fighter or something, and one accused the other of cheating, and next thing you know, he's grabbing his 6-foot bong and smacking him upside the head with it, and then the guy's calling the cops on him. Like I said, only in Canada. I mean, it's and this makes front page news up here too, because we're really slow, and we don't have such exciting things like our leader becoming impeached. Unfortunately, the ones who should be impeached never are. Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you. I was really trying to make it through the whole stream, but I was like, nope, ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, you don't want to bust anything either.
No. I come back to you saying something about a 6-foot bong, though.
Oh yeah, only in Canada. two roommates were, playing Xbox or whatever, and they got into a video game dispute. And one of them hit the other one with a bong, and the guy called the cops on his roommate. And it was like, only in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. In my place of business, we sell those kind of things, paraphernalia. And we don't have a 6-foot one, but we do got one that's a good 3 foot long, tall.
Yeah. And if they're made out of that hard tempered glass, that could be a serious weapon.
Yeah. Well, this one is plastic.
Yeah. Some generally are, because they're, like I said, first of all, if you're a stoner, you don't want to be knocking over your glass bongs, so get some plastic.
Well, they've got some that are made out of, it's not urethane, but it's some kind of rubbery material. And I'm like, really? This doesn't melt?
Oh, yeah. I've seen those.
Yeah, that's the thing now, I guess. But I don't know. It's
trying to idiot-proof stoners.
It's been almost 40 years since I last smoked pot, so I couldn't tell you.
4 minutes since I did. No, it's just because I know I've told you this off air. I do have a pain management thing, and with your typical aspirins, ibuprofens, oxycontins, they don't treat me very well. My body doesn't react very well. And it seems like, topicals and a little bit of the THC and CBD does wonders for my pain. And, I'm lucky that I found something that works, that isn't going to constantly do me wrong in the end.
Well, it's illegal in my state. We do sell the CBD. We're able to do that.
But recreational is a no-no.
Yeah. But we've got like chewables, or they're gummies is what they are. We've also got oils.
Oh yeah.
And we've also got the vape, the CBD vape. I've thought about trying it to see if it helps with my pain some. But it's so doggone expensive. I'm just like, I don't want to spend that much money and it not help. So
yeah, because it really is a crapshoot. Like a lot of medications, it's either going to work or not work.
Yeah,
because I know my wife, it doesn't do anything for her. She doesn't like it.
Yeah,
works for me.
The CBD, I've heard people say it helps them, and I've heard people say that it didn't do a thing for them. So yeah, I guess
my favorite thing is there's this like CBD. You know what Tiger Balm is?
Yes,
like a mentholated muscle relaxant cream rub chat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this one that's infused with CBD. It's very expensive, like $60 for a tiny little tin.
Yeah, we sell it.
Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. That for me, for my joint pain, did wonders. But I can't justify spending that much money a month on it because it just
it's extremely
expensive. Yeah,
it's extremely expensive. I look at the stuff in our CBD case sometimes because I work by myself. Everybody does. If it's your shift, you're there on your own. You're by yourself.
Okay.
And if it is slow, there's only so much wiping and cleaning glass and putting stock away that you can do, and you're all done, And so I get bored and I start walking around looking at what we carry to try to get myself more familiar with it, because we carry so many different things. It's not just tobacco.
Yeah.
We carry a lot of different stuff. And I'll get to looking through the CBD case and I'm like, oh my gosh, that much? No, I don't think so. But,
hopefully, I mean, here at least, because it's legalized nationwide, the cost will come down and it'll become more readily available in a cheaper price. So,
yeah,
I hope.
Bansma, that's how they promote it. Bansma acid, does it help anxiety? That's how the CBD, at least here, is promoted. It helps you chill out.
Yeah. There's two main active components, THC and CBD. CBD is more for the body to just sort of chill you out, slow down your mind, and just relax you. The THC gets you a little bit more energetic, gets you more the colloquially known as stoned, kind of like that's the more recreational side. The CBD is the more medicinal side of it. And then, you also have the pulp product of hemp, which is a great product.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, if you have a doctor, RJ, that is at all knowledgeable in this stuff, consult with them first. And if they don't, then try to find a good compassion club or something where they do focus more on the medicinal side and are well versed in the product, because within those two main classifications there's many different products out there, and you gotta, if you're interested, just find something that works for you. But
yeah, it comes in many forms, as we've already mentioned. There's edibles, there are oils, that you just use a drop of it, like under your tongue, kind of thing.
yeah, the little tinctures.
Yeah, the tinctures. There's balms, like he was talking about, the tiger balm. There are vapes, and there's a lot of different ways to use it.
And again, I can't stress it enough. Like any sort of medication you might be considering or putting in your body, do your research online. There's plenty of research you can look up, and also find somebody in one of these storefronts. It depends on where you are, obviously, with how regulated or legal it is, but find somebody who's knowledgeable on the product and not just trying to sell you stuff, but is actually genuinely informed on the different products.
Yeah. I know that from my experience, that looking at what we sell, that on the ingredients it will list, it'll actually tell you whether or not it'll fail you a drug test.
yeah Which could be important in a state where it's not legal.
Yeah, that's another thing that you want to look into when you're looking at product, because not all of them are the same. And
because there are hundreds and thousands of strains out there of different plants, and those translate into different refined product.
Yeah. And different strengths.
Yeah.
There are actually different strengths of it. So, yeah, a lot of things to consider when you look into it. But, yeah, I look at the stuff sometimes and I think, I'd like to try this, but I just can't justify, like you say, spending $60 for something that might not work. You know?
Yeah.
I may jump at it sometime. I might just, I'll be at the end of one of my shifts when my hip and back are just screaming because I've just swept the floor.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I'm going to try this. But yeah.
I feel you. Yeah. I was cleaning the bathroom the other day and my leg took a wrong pop and I was just on my butt for the next 2 days.
There's nothing very physical about my job except for truck day. You got to put the truck away. That's not even really that bad. Several bags of tobacco. Yeah, it weighs a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not like you're moving big pallets or anything.
Right. You're just scooting it to the other side of the store and then hanging it up on hangers, and on a rack or whatever. And so there's nothing really that weighs a ton or anything like that. The chew probably weighs more than anything. The dip, like skull and all that. But sweeping, because I have to sweep every night.
Of course.
And running that sweeper, good Lord, that just kills me.
Bending and stretching and using like every muscle in your body to make these motions. It's not, heavy motions, but it's a repetition.
And especially now that something's going wrong with the sweeper and it's not picking up right, which is a bad time for it to do that because, we're in that time of year where people are tracking everything into the place.
Yeah.
And then you've got, because we do allow smoking. And even though there's ashtrays right on the counter, you got your dummy slobs that'll just flip their ashes on the floor. And somebody,
you told me about that the last stream, and I
can't
believe people are so callous.
We got on one of our counters, because our big money comes from selling tobacco and lottery. That's where we make most of our money. And I'm not talking about the bulk tobacco. The majority of our money comes from selling pre-rolls, like Marlboros and Cools and Salems and yada yada,
like actual
Winston's,
cigarettes.
and that and lottery, and they will stand at our lottery, right in front of where our lottery is, and somebody put their cigarette down on the counter and burned our counter. I said, "Are you kidding me? You guys, do you act like this at home?"
It's that meth.
Yeah, it is.
I know you've talked about that a lot.
Oh, you can always tell when a big shipment of meth has come into town because all the tweakers are out buying pipes.
Yeah.
And trust me, we
I've
get
noticed you in my time. They're just such callous people. They don't have any regard for anything around them. I mean, obviously, if you're putting that poison in your body, you don't care about yourself. So I wouldn't expect you to care about anything else.
And trust me, we do get tweakers in there. There's this one guy that comes in now and again, and he usually buys a pipe or something. He hangs around that display case when he comes in. But he's always slapping himself in the face, literally slap with both hands. He'll slap himself with his left and then his right, in the back of the head and on top of his head. He's just always slapping himself.
Papa, he's just trying to feel something in his life.
I'm like, this dude.
Bloody tweakers.
And then when he goes to leave, he doesn't even leave right away. He'll get in his car and he'll get back out of his car and do something. Then he'll get in his car, get back out of his car and do something. Move around, get in the trunk, get back in the car, get up. I'm like, dude. Meth, not even once.
Not even once.
I can honestly say I may have, but I don't recall ever doing any meth. I certainly never smoked any when I was in those days.
Yeah,
done a lot of other stuff.
It is a relatively new thing in the grand scheme of things to hit society.
Well, crack didn't even exist when I was doing drugs.
Yeah.
You had cocaine, and people were certainly smoking it, freebasing it. Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it didn't exist in the crack form, at least not in the general population. I've done a lot of bad stuff, but I never done that. Of course, I was more would you say a downers person than an uppers?
Okay.
I preferred that high to being wired.
Yeah.
But I did do that. But anyway, we are getting to the end of the stream. Boy, we've as usual in this stream, we've covered the gamut.
A virtual cornucopia of topics.
Went all over the place, and that's exactly what I want this stream to be. Just you never know what you're going to get. A box of chocolates is what it is. If I ever change the name of this stream, which I probably never will, but if I ever do, I'll probably rename it Box of Chocolate Stream.
That's a perfect title. So apropos.
But at any rate, thank you, chap, for coming out and supporting the stream with your likes, your shares, your comments. Even if Google deleted your comment, that concerns me. I didn't know that was going on. I was surprised at that one. Sorry, guys. Not my fault. But thank you for coming out and supporting the stream. Thank you for those that were able to go a little further and contribute a little money to the old man. Much appreciated. We'll go to a good cause. Functional, thank you for coming on absolutely zero notice.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm usually around in chat and, love the show, whether I'm in chat or banting with you.
Well, there you go. I appreciate that. Is there anything you want to shout out? Or?
Well, like I said, when you were in the bathroom to the chat, we're not doing our show, Jen and my Snow Mexican show tonight. She's got some real life stuff to take care of, so I'm just going to have the night off. The wife's heading over to the in-laws for Christmas. You can see me on my show, and I'll say a little something in the chat. So you can click on my name and give me a sub. Even if you don't want to, watch my shows, give me a little sympathy sub so that I can hit 100 and that I can actually customize my channel and be a real content creator. But we also run the gamut from a Canadian perspective. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, generally after your show at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Well, there you go.
And last night I was on Cynical Lindsay's show with Maddie, and we were talking Star Wars. And watch for Cynical Lindsay's future show. We're going to have a sit down and a chat about The Expanse, which is another sci-fi show that we are really loving.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Be on the lookout for that. And yes,
next Redneck Trek. I need more. I need more, old man. Give it to me.
And yes, Pincalo, the Google moderators made an appearance. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, they're all over Pincalo. They dropped the AI on us. They're censoring left, right, and center.
As for me, the next Redneck Radio, by the looks of what they're giving me for a schedule on the phone, looks like Tuesday for sure. There'll be a stream Tuesday, so there'll be that. The next Redneck Trap will be this Sunday. In fact, I'm going to the footage is already in the can. I've just got to do the voiceovers and then edit it, add the music. I'll be doing voiceovers probably tonight after my wife leaves for work, because when I record BJ Hickenlooper, it wakes her up because he is purposely loud. That's part of his character.
Yeah.
So I have to wait till she goes to work. So I'll be recording that tonight, but it will be Sunday. Will not be at its normal time. It'll be a half hour later. So instead of 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, it will be 6, because I have to work Sunday and won't get home till about 5:30. So,
Sunday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So be on the lookout for that. But again, thank you everybody for coming out. Thanks to Functional again. But until next time, get out of my yard.
Bye, everybody. That was my best bad